Good day everyone and welcome to Exile News, the weekly show that brings you all the important news and information on Path of Exile, starting and finishing really with this Necropolis fan art competition highlights, where we are getting some more highlights, of course, for the current ongoing competition, which has actually ended. It ended last week, at the end of the week, or on Monday, depending on your time zone. And yeah, so we got some more highlights, which are pretty cool, gotta say. Very different art styles. That is quite nice. Also, I've seen this one on Reddit already as well. And yeah, next week we are most likely going to get the winners, and the week after some runners-up, as GG always does. So be ready for that one. It's going to be amazing. Also, if you want to see all of the possible arts, just go in the official thread and you'll be able to see all of the submissions that have been made and try to judge and see if the one you prefer the most is going to be the winner. But anyway, since this was actually all, let's spend a moment to talk about Necropolis. I'm really liking the crafting, because even though it can get really complicated and people have compared the perfect graveyard layout to the old perfect harvest layout, but even if you don't do that, even if you just slam all the corpses in there, you can get some pretty damn good crafts, unless you're targeting like tagless things. For example, spell suppression is really hard to get in some circumstances because it doesn't have a specified tag, so you cannot improve chances to get that, so you have to remove everything else, and that becomes a problem. You can hit block and start recovery, but I mean, that's part of the gamble. Still, the crafting, even just slamming the corpses in the graveyard, is pretty good. It can get you really good items, which most people, especially average casual people, don't really get access to. And you can do that in Solo Self-Found as well. So for Solo Self-Found, this system is probably amazing. I don't know, I play trade, even though I tend to not trade because trading is horrible. Still, the league could have used a little bit more UI fixes, and yeah, just what everyone is asking, which basically is the possibility to remove corpses from the actual mapping, like burning them on the spot or something like that would have been great, or just not have them cover all the loot, which most likely you'll want to actually loot, because if you're using a loot filter, everything that's showing, or kinda like everything that is showing, you might want to get it. So that's something that could have been improved. But other than that, the other big problem I see is the fact that you have to fill the full graveyard every time you want to do a craft, because if you do not do so, you are most likely risking to break your item, because maybe the chances you put in there were not high enough. So it creates a situation where you really want to craft, but you really have to wait to fill up all the graveyard, and you really start to get a lot of corpses if you invest in the league. So you have to put points in the passive tree, and you have to be playing in higher tier maps, because that definitely makes a difference in the amount of corpses that you get. So kind of creates this situation where the moment where it would most be useful, so for people to actually jump from one map tier to another map tier, for example, or early game to early maps, those moments really make it kind of hard to craft something useful. So I don't know, I think it missed a little bit of the mark, but still it worked in the way that it bridges the gap between, for example, people getting to T16s and people playing T17s. So there's a huge difference in builds and in currency invested into these kind of builds. And Necropolis kind of bridges that gap so that you can get really good gears that are not a T17 level maybe, or sometimes they are, but you kind of need to work around with it. So I think the league is quite good in and of itself. It feels pretty much abandoned by GG, as much as the news feed feels like. And yeah, hopefully we're going to get some news on PoE2, because feels like GG is just full on that, and well, who knows what they're doing with the next league. Who knows, maybe they're even rushing to get PoE2 beta out this summer, but I don't know. I feel like that's wishful thinking, so don't quote me on that. And yeah, I've rambled enough. That's all for this week. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. Also, if you want to remain updated every week, be sure to subscribe to my channel. That was all. I've been your host Giorgio, and I'll see you guys the next time.